that. I believe that a higher power, there is a higher power.
Right.
I believe a very close relationship with him that's helped me a lot. And
somebody's on your side.
Yeah.
So this is a Daily Wire videos, Michael Knowles, and he is talking about Mathew Perry and some kind of admission of a belief in God of some sort. So we're gonna check it out. It's should be kind of interesting. I am Brentley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. Like I said, this is Michael Knowles. He does a lot of fundy type videos. You know, I'm not a big fan of covering the Daily Wire a whole lot, but Michael Knowles just fits the bill for this show like crazy. It's just he's constantly talking about how afraid of demons he is, and just tons of religious rhetoric that seems to be all over his videos. So this one's about Mathew Perry, rest in peace. You know, Chandler Bing, who was one of my favorite characters in TV. Just you know, and it was really sad to hear that he passed, especially the way that he did. As far as I understand it, it sucks, you know, that he passed that way. So we're gonna get into it. Just let Michael Knowles do the thing. So I want us to pay attention to kind of like keep in mind while we're watching this that religion. And it doesn't really matter which one, although I'd say Christianity seems to be a bit more pompous about it. They claim to have the patent on comforting people around death, right? And they seem to think that they, you know, as long as they, you know, convince everybody of this afterlife and their religion and everything, that, you know, they can comfort people when their loved ones pass away. But I think we all know that that's just a lie. They're trying to get people in the cult undercuts any comfort that they could get, you know, out of people surrounding death. So, but we'll get into it. Let's hear Michael Knowles break this down.
Mathew Perry, rest in peace. He's going around the internet in all of these clips of him and some of his final days and years. And there's one clip that's particularly poignant where Mathew Perry is discussing what he thinks about God.
I was put on a thing called an ECMO machine, which you, having read the book, you would know what that is.
Yes.
But it's
no, I did. I took notes. I underlined it.
I know, I believe you. But they call that a Hail Mary. That's what they do when they put you on an ECMO machine, when it's a Hail Mary. And 5 people were on ECMO that night, and the other 4 died, and I somehow made it.
Well, what God is a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I know your feeling about that. But
there was a Chandler moment right there. That was Chandler.
I'm a fan. Maybe I'm God.
Okay. I know that once you've referred to it as a force, and you know, I believe that. I believe that a higher power. There is a higher power.
Right.
I believe a very close relationship with him that's helped me a lot. And
here he like switches it. He said, you know, there's a higher power, and I have a very close relationship with him. It's like trying to say the thing without saying the thing. And it seems
somebody's on your side.
Yeah.
This is really nice. Some people are going to recoil just a little bit from Mathew Perry using this vague language of a higher power. But
yeah, because if you don't say Jesus Christ of Nazareth, our Lord and Savior, then you're just you might as well just be a dirty, disgusting, homeless atheist. You know, that's
first of all, he's talking to Bill Maher, who's one of the most famous atheists in the country. So I think he's just trying to get through to him a little bit. It's not a debate that they're having. He's just trying to convey this here. And then even when he says, look, you've talked about like a force, Bill. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I believe in.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. Commander said, if Ember is a trucker, then yes, all truckers in the chat. I got a lot of truckers, you know. I need to get myself a CB. That's what I need. And then we can, you know, communicate that way. It'd be like break on 41 9 and 2 1 30. That's my trucker impression.
And I think I have a close relationship with him. So there you see, he tips his hand. He's not talking about some abstract force. He's talking about a personal God. And he says, I think I have a close relationship with him, and that has helped me a lot.
So you said that he does have a relationship with him.
And I don't doubt him. I didn't read Mathew Perry's book. Drew read it. And after he read it, he called me or I saw him. He was like, you got to read Mathew Perry's book. I said, what? Why? He said, it's really poignant. It's so illuminating. And he described a scene in Perry's life from the book. It was the first time Perry prayed. He apparently said, please God, make me famous. You can do anything you want to me. Just make me famous. And 3 weeks later, the guy gets cast in Friends, one of the biggest TV shows of all time.
Okay. Now do all of the people in Hollywood that's it. Just all the people in Hollywood. You don't think that same prayer is just everywhere in Hollywood? That is like the main prayer. Right? If there was some way to see some kind of diagram or some type of pie chart or something of like what are the prayers about in Hollywood, that would be there'd be like a little sliver that's like not those prayers, like all the other prayers, but that's the main one.
And God did not forget about it. This reminds me of a famous verse of scripture, which is ask and it shall be given to you.
What? Hold on, Chuck, or Commander, I'm sorry. Said got a new video out with a CGI animated shark talking about how Russian tourists are the absolute worst. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out as soon as I get done here. That sounds very. I mean, that's just entertainment. That's solid,
Which is why you've got to be careful of what you ask for, because when we make an idol out of something and we desire that thing above all,
because you could be dealing with some genie, and but like an evil one that always grants your wish, but like some evil twisted version of it. I feel like I saw a movie about
all things. We get it, and then we're the dog that caught the car, and sometimes that thing is not for our flourishing. It's not been in our best interest, and sometimes that thing can destroy us.
I like how he has to restate the thing. He's like, and that could not be for our. That could be against our flourishing. That's not what's not good for us. That's what that is. I know flourishing is not, I'm not talking about flowers or something. Okay. It's not.
That happens all the time with fame in Hollywood. I'm not sure that I can name, I know a lot of very successful actors because I lived in LA for a long time and been around show business a little bit. And
he's like, I have been to show business. I know. I have exactly one picture that I use for Michael Knowles. And it's when I think he was playing a gay character and he has his shirt off and he's like opening the doors. And he's like got his like poking in, got his like, like he's leaning on the door and like hanging in the room. And that is the only picture I use of Michael Knowles on all of my thumbnails because, I mean, that's funny. That's just funny. All right. People need reminding. So Tink said the fact that he made that request, then actually got famous, then suffered years of drug addiction because of his fame. It sounds more like that other guy granted his wish. Yeah, dude. That's a good point. Didn't seem to help it. And I almost wonder if that's the point that Knowles is trying to make here. I haven't watched this one yet, so I'm kind of just I'm kind of having to experience it with you guys. But
I don't know that I could name a single happy one. Maybe a handful of exceptions. Maybe. And I'm talking successful guys. I'm not talking about unsuccessful guys. You've got to be very, very careful for what you wish for. There have been things that I've desired in life that I haven't gotten, that I was really upset about that I didn't get. And then in retrospect, I think, oh, that would have ruined my life had I gotten that. My life is so much better now because God had a better plan than I did. And so Mathew Perry said, and
all that heroin that one time, I know, man. It's just, it's probably a good thing that you didn't. Pretty good. Probably good that God didn't answer your prayer for more heroin.
Apparently, in some of his final days, he said, I know that when I die, I'm just going to be remembered as Chandler Bing from Friends, but I hope I'm remembered for more than that.
Which is fucking still awesome because I'm pretty sure Chandler was like, out of the guys anyway, was everybody's favorite, right?
how I've tried to help people and helped addicts and things like that. And that might be true. He probably won't. He'll be remembered as Chandler Bing, but he might be remembered for some of these poignant things. I mean, the fact that his book was such a big hit and it was so helpful, and it came out just shortly before he died.
I don't know anything about his book, to be honest. It sounds like it has some religious overtones and things like that, but and probably, like I said, like helpful stuff about addiction and things like that, which is all right, cool. Got no problems with that. I got no problem with Mathew Perry in general. I don't, and I don't really care if people believe in God or a higher power or whatever necessarily. My problem is when they start deciding that they know what that higher power is, what it wants, and then start demanding that everybody else follow legislation based on the belief that all of those things are accurate. That's when I really have a problem.
That's good. And it's a consolation that the guy had a relationship with God. We hope that everyone comes into the fullness of truth, but any little step in the right direction is hopeful.
The fullness of
And it's why
the fullness of truth. That I feel like that could just not be more pompous. That is such a Christian thing to just be like, we want them to, finally figure out the obvious truth, that's hurricanes happen because a lady made of a rib was convinced by a talking snake to eat a magic fruit. Okay, we want people to come to that truth and just learn it. But some people are stupid and want to believe obvious lies, like that stuff is just a story and made up. I know, but we hope that they come to the truth.
Especially troubled people can be great guides for the rest of us, because we see the logical consequences of vice and sin. They know it better than anybody. And so they're often the ones who are some of the best evangelists. So
vice and sin, and like that is just the cause of everything. It's so interesting to me because, like, if you're ever, like, I was on the streets for a while. I was very heavily I was just hanging out with a lot of people on that were addicted and everything. I don't think I met a single atheist on the street, which is kind of ironic, or in any of the drug treatment programs that I did. Everybody was a Christian. Everybody viewed what they were doing as sin. Everybody, and still continued to ask forgiveness for these sins and everything, almost as if, religion doesn't help. In fact, I'd argue that it hurts because it offers a solution that isn't a solution that they keep pushing the addicts back to. And so they never get out of the situation. They just keep staying in the cycle, which is just using and then feeling bad about it, asking forgiveness, then believing that God just totally healed them from it. He, of course, didn't. They go back to, they get sick. They don't feel whatever. They go have the mental addiction aspect kick in, whatever. And they go back to the shit. And then they're in this fucking cycle, and religious people love that shit. They love that they are stuck in that cycle because they keep running back to church being like, oh, my flesh, I gave in to my flesh again. Because it kind of feels like what they're saying is true when your flesh is rejecting you, because, like, literally your flesh is rejecting you because you need a substance that you had been taking for pain or whatever. It solidifies their belief system in your head, even though it's all just a fucking illusion. It's all just it's just you being on a medication that you can't stop because you're literally physically addicted to it. You have learned behavior with a drug teacher. That's all it is. It's not any magical thing. It's not sin or anything like that. It's just you being addicted to something. You needing to figure out how to stop taking a substance that's very difficult to stop. But has nothing to do with sin. Anyway, I don't know why I got off on that tangent.
Anyway, worth praying for Mathew Perry and a really like poignant end
it's
to
too late for that for you guys, like
an unexpected end to a career that's basically known for some catchphrases from a 90s sitcom. Now, speaking of things that
let's see, nice of them to assume he was referring to his god. Higher power could easily be several other gods popular in Hollywood. Xenu, it could be Xenu. There's a lot of those folks in Hollywood, a lot of those Scientologists. That's what I call them, Scientologists. Ember said, I enjoy obvious lies from time to time. People are generally good, and there's someone for everyone. Santa is real. Sometimes lies help is sometimes lies help get through this capitalist hellscape another day. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like the comforting lies. That's a good point. We all tell ourselves lies sometimes to feel better about things. But I feel like religious lies in that regard, especially as it applies to death, it takes out its own. It's like it undercuts itself because, like, yeah, oh hey man, don't you want to believe that you get to spend all eternity with your family and loved ones, that have passed on, that you wish you could spend more time with every day or whatever. And you're like, yeah, man, that's awesome. I would love to believe that. And they're like, well, you can, you get just for the low price of 10% of all your income before taxes, God damn it. You can have that as long as both you are my religion, but they have to have been your religion too, or my religion really. And so, if it isn't those things, then it's actually worse because now they're being tortured for all eternity. So they're like the fact that they are trying to get people scared into their cult undercuts any kind of comfort that they could provide around death, because everybody, and this happens all the time. People joke about this at church constantly, where they're like, oh yeah, the guy the preacher on the stage is like, oh, he was such a good person and we all loved him, and everybody's like, yeah, but he wasn't a Christian, so he's in hell. But they can't say that. They have to lie and play pretend that he was our religion and isn't in hell, instead of just talking about the memory. Fuck this afterlife bullshit. Just talk about the actual person, the life they lived, and talk about the good things about them. They're like happy memories with them and stuff. Like they will live on forever in our memories, or live on as long as we live that remember them. And then at some point, yeah. But I mean, at some point the sun's going to explode and we're all going to die and nobody will ever know that we were here in the first place. So it doesn't matter, but anyway.
Really matter. We all want to store our gold up in heaven, but we have to take care of the body and things while we're here on this earth. And so when you want gold here on earth, you got to check out Birch Gold. Right now, text Knowles to 989898. Yet again, we're value free $10,000 Friday. Birch Gold Bureau and victim of the first gold bars on your. So the issue.
I always forget they just shoehorn that in there, just like right in the middle. Like they don't even put it at the end, like polite YouTubers do.
This alert. Cornell Hillel, a Jewish center, says they are aware of a threatening statement that was directed toward the building at 104 West, which houses the university's kosher and multicultural dining hall, as well as more generally toward Jewish students, faculty, and staff. The Cornell University administration has been made aware of the concerning language, and the Cornell Police Department is monitoring the situation and is on site with additional security as a precaution. At this time, we advise that students and staff avoid the building out of an abundance of caution. We will continue to provide updates as additional information becomes available. Very bad stuff. Now, part of this was made online, so it could be a hoax. I don't think it's a hoax.
Yeah, dude. Tink said, you can't take it with. Buy gold though. Buy gold. You want to store up treasures in heaven, but get a couple for here too. Like my goodness. And it's so funny with the gold shit. It's like this is so like pandering to their conspiracy audience, you know what I mean? Like the gold shit. They always seem to think that gold like is some like exempt from the market. It's just a special category of metal that is outside of the market. It doesn't go up in value because we decided this. It intrinsically has universal, like inner global value that cannot be altered in any way by the market at all. Just, and it's so funny because like I had a conversation with this guy at an herb shop the other day. Herb shops are full of both woo people, and then woo people are full of conspiracies. That is just constant. And one guy said that he like pulled out $1 and he was like, "This isn't money." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "This is a picture of money." What? Not even kidding. We got to get gold, bro. Okay. Because when they left that gold standard, we don't even have a room full of gold that matches this picture of money anymore. Like, why do you think that the money has value? Why do you think that picture of money has value? And they're like, well, because, the government says. I'm like, yeah. And well, just not even that, just humans say that it has value. And same thing with gold. It's exactly the same. It only has value because we decided it. Anyway, I don't. It's not. It's not like you can do anything with it other than just have it and be like, I got that. It has no actual value other than just being a metal that people believe has value. Anyway,
of Jewish students saying this about themselves? I don't think so. That has happened. That sort of thing has happened. Often when there are anti-black statements written on a wall or the white supremacist symbols or that has.
I don't even know what he's on to. Commander said about addiction is a serious problem that really anyone can fall into. Yeah, it's true. It's a medical condition that needs medical treatment. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was spinning my gears on it for forever. And I used to take a lot of opiates. I was in a car accident and was prescribed them, and I was here in Florida, so we had the opiate crisis because of them just throwing pills at people. And so I was kind of caught up in that whole thing. And yeah, it was not until I became until I deconverted and quit going to these stupid fucking religious institutions for addiction, which all they would do is shame you and be like, you just need to get right with God. Stop focusing on the drug thing over there and just focus on your relationship with God, which did nothing. In fact, I feel like that just exacerbated because I'm like, is this going to be my life now? I can't, if this is all my life is, oh my God, it's horrible. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It was just but as soon as I was able to snap out of my brain cage religious beliefs, man, addiction was easy to stop, honestly. If you just treat it like it's a medical issue, just like Commander was saying here, if you treat it like it's a medical issue or a science solution for a science problem, which it is, then, it's not that hard. Actually, it's really not. I have some really good methods to get off of alcohol and nicotine. If anybody needs help, it's just, you just listen to a book. That's it. That's what I did. Listen to a book over and over, and the repetition helps it get in your head. That's it. It's real simple. But anyway.
It's often been a hoax in recent years, especially. In fact, I document a whole slew of them in my book, Speechless: Controlling Words, Controlling Minds.
Oh my God.
Same thing goes for
Speechless.
Anti-woman, threatening, what is called rape culture statements. Those have often proved to be hoaxes. There haven't been a ton in recent American memory of Jewish students doing these things about themselves. And we've seen a huge spike in anti-Jewish attacks and rhetoric. So I think it could be.
We've seen a huge spike. I feel like that has always been there, man. Like this is not, this is not new, like your audience, honestly, actually is probably the people out there driving this kind of stuff because of your religion, as well as other white supremacist talking points that you love to just tiptoe around.
I don't think it would be them doing it to themselves, but I could see it being sort of a hoax because it was online, and people online make all sorts of comments that don't really have any bearing in reality. But if I were the Jewish students at Cornell, I would hunker down. I would take it very, very seriously. The timing of this is a little odd because I am going to Cornell on Monday.
Hold on, this is an excellent point. Tink said, are the drug rehab places run by religious groups as they can see you as an easy convert? That's right. From one addiction to theirs. Exactly. That's really it, because you have two types of indoctrination, right? You have indoctrination from birth, from childhood. That's like what I was dealt with. I was homeschooled and everything like that. But you also have indoctrination out of times of extreme stress and fear and things like that, just under any kind of extreme duress. Like you're easy because you're looking for literally any solution. And when none of the actual solutions are panning out, magic is like the only fucking place you can turn. And Christians and other religions are like, hey, we got the magic over here, guys. Just come on. We got you. No, it's okay. We have a magical being that can fix all of your problems. Okay, you're gonna love it. It's great as long as you just decide that being is just fixing all your problems. All your problems are fixed. How can you argue with that?
Invited to speak at Cornell. A lot of the schools this semester, some of which are very prominent schools.
I know we're not even listening to this idiot right now. That's fine. Amber said, I tried a hypnosis thing to break addiction. It didn't work, but the relaxation techniques helped me to sleep really fast. So there's that. No, yeah. So as far as what I'm talking about is I've heard people talk about hypnosis, right? And I mean, if that works on some people, whatever, it didn't really seem to work for me. But it was less about that, and it was more about realizing exactly how addiction works in your mind, and exactly how it functions is like is your relationship with it, right? So it's like once you realize that you're believing a lot of lies, and this is why I think skepticism is so helpful. This is kind of like what I want to do with the Skeptic University with Sydney, is kind of walk through exactly how skepticism can really help with addiction, because addiction is just you believing lies. That's all it is. It's you believing lies that are told to you by a chemical that in your brain that's forcing you to think these things because you kind of need to think these things. Otherwise, you feel completely irrational. You're like, why am I drinking this stuff every night if I'm just getting sick every morning, waking up regretting everything I said last night, and acting silly or whatever, getting in a fight with somebody or whatever it was. You're constantly regretting because the chemical is actually not the poison that you're drinking. All it does is it lowers how you normally feel down low, and then when you get that toxin again, it raises you up to just normal, but you believe that it feels good because you feel shitty all the other times. Same thing with nicotine. Nicotine's actually a lot worse. Nicotine's actually a much more stark example of how this works. And so if you understand and get that in your head thoroughly, and if you make sure that you don't quit until you like go through a lot of this stuff. So you're supposed to listen to these books while you're continuing to smoke and drink or whatever. And then you can literally see that what they're saying about your relationship to these things is true, that it is actually not really giving you any real pleasure at all. It's just a fucking smoke and mirrors game. Anyway, I don't know the whole thing. But yeah, skepticism really, really helped me kind of snap out of a lot of harmful behaviors and stuff. And it was all just because you actually see how the chemicals function inside your head and your relationship to them. And you can see all the lies. You're like, oh shit, alcohol had nothing to do with me having fun at all. I have way more fun now because I don't have to rely on something to have fun. I can just have fun. I can be at work in a place I don't want to be and still have fun because I'm not, beholden to some chemical that's like, you only can have fun with me. Anyway.
I've been dragging out the contracts because the students want me to come, but the administrations don't want me to come. So we haven't announced a lot of my speaking tour this semester. This one we're announcing last minute, but it's been in the works for a while, that I'll be going to Cornell. And I don't know what it is. I keep going to these schools when the terrorists show up. So I was at University of Pittsburgh last semester, and I showed up when Antifa was threatening to harm.
Those terrorists. Yeah. The Antifa ones. Yeah. The ones that are, that are just, extra sensitive to people being hurt. And so they protest when they see harm happening to other people. I know those evil people.
Groups of people and burned me an effigy on the street and threw an explosive at the building right as I went to walk on stage. And now
an explosive. It was a firecracker. Shut up. Just shut up. Okay.
Now I'm showing up to Cornell days after they're threatening to kill the Jews. So I guess
so he is actually talking about white supremacists. How did he conflate that with Antifa, man? Antifa doesn't like white supremacists, right?
I guess that'll help form my talk. Initially, I was thinking about speaking on, I don't know, some of the false premises of Enlightenment liberalism. Could talk about the political philosophy.
Exactly. Those damn lying chemicals. They do, Just got to be able to see through the bullshit, That's all. Just be like, oh, this thing is lying. This thing is lying to me, Also, shrooms help, because that helps you see all the lies too, Let's see. Commander said, yeah, as a Jewish person, I have actually never yet to receive any kind of hate from the left. Personally, it's always been people on the right who have made me miserable. Yeah, I mean, right? It's weird how that works, right? So they're constantly, it's so funny because when conservatives, they kind of like figure out that certain things are just like a net bad, like, and being anti-Semitic isn't that bad because it, we've had a history of it just being bad, but they don't actually see it as being bad. They just see it as something that people believe is bad. You know what I mean? And so they needle at that. And so they use that. So anytime anybody critiques Israel or anything like that, they're like, oh, that's it. Hey, I know you're one of those, people that hate Jewish people. And it's like, no, man, no, that's not what's happening. So they just understand it as something that people believe is bad. And they don't actually think it's bad.
Philosophy of Donoso Cortez. I find that interesting. But I guess now I'll have to narrow it down to actually, you shouldn't kill all the Jews. That's one potential title. Maybe.
Wow. Okay, man. I feel like, it's weird that he started this video with, hey, man, this is really sad about Mathew Perry and everything. And, but, seems like he might have been a Christian through a vague conversation that he had with Bill Maher. Now, let me talk about my book that I almost named Killing the Jewish People is Bad, or whatever the fuck. Like, what is going on? What are you doing, man? How did we get here? It's like, Jesus. Okay, I don't know.
You don't, in fact, have to hand it to Hamas. Maybe that's a good title. I don't know. But I've got my work cut out for me. And anyway, if you're around Ithaca next Monday, I will see you there. Man.
Excellent. All right. Well, that was fun. That was a fun conversation about nothing he was talking about. I don't know how that how that happened, But speaking of people that suck, go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping on the whole order. Just go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley. That's Brently. That is my name. And get your exclusive offer. Get it. Okay. And get your butt some stuff. There's plenty of stuff for that. I even seen it was Seamus, a buddy of mine, posted a candy corn butt plug. So, which is, I was like, I'm pretty sure, and I haven't totally checked, but I'm pretty sure Adam and Eve has that candy corn butt plug. If that's what you want, if that's something that sounds like fun, and I don't care who you are, that sounds like fun. Okay. That's one way to make candy corn taste good. Shoving it up to your head. Okay. But if you want to support the show in other ways, you can go to patreon.com/punkapostate. We have a Patreon. I'm updating it all the time and just kind of giving all my little thoughts here and there and little videos and stuff. And we also get extra videos like this. But first, subscribe, and share the show, and comment below after the video too. That always helps. All the engagement. But we also have a Cash App. Our cash tag is punkapostate, all one word. If you want to do that, that'd be great. Really appreciate it. Anything that'd help right now, because it's gotten crazy down here. But hey, most important thing is, though, that you stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we'll see you next time.